Okay, I'm making a Gimmick Puppet combo video. This will have two combos. The first one using one card, the second one using two, and both result in your opponent losing. Whether you go first or second, that is. It's just a little better if you go second, if you go first, not second. So anyway, the first one is going to be just Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. So you'll activate Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. Its effect on activation will then let you grab Little Soldiers. You will then normal summon the Little Soldiers, and then use its effect to then send your Gimmick Puppet Rouge Doll from deck to grave. Then Rouge Doll's effect will activate, returning it to your hand. Then you'll activate Rouge Doll's effect, revealing any rank 8 Xyz monster, to then summon itself and a monster from your deck with the same level as the revealed Xyz monster. In this case, it'll be level 8 Cattle Scream. And then, I'm going to check this real quick. And then also, one other thing I forgot to mention is Soldiers becomes the level of the Gimmick Puppet you send. So Soldiers is currently level 8. Then you'll overlay Soldiers and Cattle Scream to special summon your Gimmick Puppet can I remember it? Machinix Machinix. And then you'll use Machinix's effect, detaching the Cattle Scream, to then make it so that you get additional normal summon of Gimmick Puppet monster, and you get to add rank up Magic Argent Chaos Force. Then, checking this thing again, you'll activate the rank up Magic Argent Chaos Force to then summon Chaos Xyz Fanatix Machinix. And then Machinix's effect will activate on summon, letting you add a puppet trap, which you really don't need to activate that, but it's on summon, it's a free card, so. And then from there, you will then use Cattle Scream's effect Engrave, detaching the Fanatix. Make sure I'm doing this correct. So now you'll bring back your Cattle Scream. And then you will overlay Cattle Scream and Rouge Doll. So you now summon number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings. And because you summoned a rank 5 or higher Xyz, Argent Chaos Force returns to your hand. Then you will activate Gimmick Puppet of Strings effect using one overlay unit. So now you put a string counter on every other monster on the field. Make sure I'm doing this in the correct order. Okay, and then you'll use Cattle Scream. Or is it this thing that did that? Let's see, there's one. Okay, then you'll use your Fanatix Machinix's effect, detaching a material. Okay, I messed up a little bit, as it is very important that Gimmick Puppet of Strings detaches the Cattle Scream. Because now you'll use Fanatix's effect, summoning the Cattle Scream to your opponent's field. Then you'll activate the rank up Magic Argent Chaos Force on the targeting the Gimmick Puppet of Strings. So now you can summon Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings. Then Dark Strings effect will destroy Fanatix, and your opponent will take 3,100 points of damage. And then you'll get to draw one card. And then, let's see, make sure I'm doing this correctly. Let's see, if you special summon, and then because you summoned a Gimmick Puppet Xyz, Machinix will then special summon itself. Make sure I'm okay, yeah. So you'll summon Machinix, then you'll link off Machinix and Chaos number 40 to then summon Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll. And then Chimera Doll's effect will then let you add Gimmick, Puppet, Scissor Arms. Unfortunately, I am proxying for Scissor Arms, but that's because I have 3, but I cannot find them for some reason. But again, Scissor Arms just has the effect that when it's normal summon, you can Foolish Burial a Gimmick Puppet. That's all it is. And then, because you have additional normal summon, thanks to the machinix earlier, that when you added the rank up magic. Let's see, I think returning the rank up magic was part of that effect. Okay, yeah. So I skipped over it, but when this summons itself earlier, part of its effect to summon itself returns your Argent Chaos Force back to your hand. I knew I skipped something by accident, and that's what it was. Okay, now that we're all caught up, you use your additional normal summon Scissor Arms. Scissor Arms will use its effect, dumping Dreary Doll. And then Dreary Doll can summon itself by banishing any Gimmick Puppet from your graveyard. And then you'll use Little Soldier's effect, banishing itself so you can make your Scissor Arms go from level 4 to level 8. You'll then overlay Scissor Arms and Dreary Doll to summon Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. And then you will activate Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls effect, detaching a material from your Giant Grinder to then special summon any of the Gimmick Puppet monsters to your opponent's field. In this case, it'll be Fanatix Machinix. Now you'll use Giant Grinder's effect, using a material, destroying the Fanatix Machinix and inflicting 3,100 points of damage to your opponent. Then you'll activate Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force, targeting the Giant Grinder, to now summon Chaos number 15 Gimmick Puppet Giant Hunter. And then you'll use Giant Hunter's effect, use a material, target the Cattle Scream, destroy it, and then inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent. And that is the 1-card FTK with Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. One thing I will go ahead and say about both of these FTKs is that Droll and Lockbird absolutely destroys them, as they are no longer possible under Droll and Lockbird. And that was the first combo, which results in your opponent taking 8,200 points of damage. And the second combo is actually an auto-win combo, which it starts off with you having Rouge Doll and Mansion. So what you do first is activate Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls will then let you add Terror Baby from deck to hand. Then you'll activate Rouge Doll's effect. Where is it? There we go. Reveal Gigantus Doll. To then special summon Rouge Doll and Little Soldiers. And then Little Soldier's effect will activate, allowing you to send Cattle Scream to the grave to make itself level 8. Need to make sure I'm doing all those right. Then you will overlay Rouge Doll and Little Soldiers to summon Fanatix Machinix. And then Machinix will then activate its effect, which will detach the Little Soldiers. I don't think it matters here, but just be safe. You detach the Little Soldiers to then be able to get additional normal summon to a monster. And then you'll add Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force to hand. Cards in hand will just be here. And then... Okay, no. I was wrong. You detached the Rouge Doll. I have notes to the side. That's how I'm catching myself. Because after you detach the Rouge Doll, because it was sent to grave except from hand, it returns to the hand as well. And then let's see. Make sure from here. Okay, and then from here you will activate Argent Chaos Force using the Fanatix to special summon Fanatix Machinix. And then once again you have the option of using Machinix's effect on summon. Try saying that 5 times fast. Or 3 times fast, or whatever it is. will then activate to add Surface Puppet to your hand. And then let's see from there. Okay, then you'll activate Machinix's effect, detaching material, so you can summon a Gimmick Puppet from your graveyard to your opponent's field. You will give your opponent the Fantasix Machinix. And then after that, you will use your additional normal summon to normal summon Gimmick Puppet Terror Baby. Oops, that one's not in hand yet. And then Terror Baby's effect will activate to then let you special summon your Gimmick Puppet Cattle Scream. We should do this right. Cattle Scream. Then you will link off Cattle Scream and your Machinix into your Chimera Doll. And then Chimera Doll's effect will activate, which will add the second Terror Baby to your hand, and then special summon the Rouge Doll. And then you will use your normal summon another Terror Baby, and the Terror Baby will bring back the Cattle Scream. And then from here, you will use your Little Soldier's effect, banishing it from grave, so now you can make your 2 Terror Babies level 8. And now, you will overlay your 2 Terror Babies and Cattle Scream to summon number 88 Gimmick Puppet of Leo. And then from there, look at my notes. Okay, and because you summoned Gimmick Puppet of Leo, Argent Chaos Force returns to your hand. And now you will use Gimmick Puppet of Leo's effect, detaching the Cattle Scream, to give it 1 Destiny counter. And then you'll use Cattle Scream's effect, summoning itself by detaching another material from Leo. Then you will overlay Cattle Scream and Rouge Doll for your copy of Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. And then, if I remember correctly, you'll use Mansion's effect, detaching another material from Leo. Okay, no, not yet. Then you'll activate Argent Chaos Force, targeting your Gimmick Puppet of Leo. So now you can summon your Chaos number 88 Gimmick Puppet Disaster Leo. Now you'll use Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls effect, detach material from Leo, to then summon Gimmick Puppet of Leo to your opponent's field. Now you'll use Giant Grinder's effect twice, destroying both Gimmick Puppet of Leo and Fanatix, which will deal in total 32 and 15, 4,700 points of damage. I feel like the damage should have been before that as well. $1,500 points of damage. Okay, yeah. I had to make sure because I had to make sure everything was correct, and so far it is. So because of that, your opponent will take 3,200 and then 1,500 points of damage, resulting in 4,700 points of damage. And then you'll use Disaster Leo's effect, dealing another 1,000 points of damage, which means so far your opponent has taken 5,700 points of damage so far, leaving them with 1,300 life points. Or, why does that my math seem wrong there? It's 2,300, so I'm missing a burn damage somewhere. One moment. Okay, I see why I went wrong. When you summon Giant Grinder, so I'm going to back up a little bit. When you summon Giant Grinder, you will use Machinix's effect. Or not Machinix's effect. So Giant Grinder does still destroy the Machinix. Your opponent takes 1500. Forget what was the material. Then you can use Mansion's effect. Give your opponent the Leo. This will destroy the Leo. And then you'll use... And then... When you summon this, that's what I was forgetting. When you summon this, Argent Chaos Force will return to your hand. And then... From there... You'll activate Rank Up Magic Argent Chaos Force, ranking into your Giant Hunter. And then, because you summoned, this will summon itself to your opponent's field. To then return this to hand. I know I butchered this a little bit, but my notes weren't too perfect, so. Because let's see. According to the instructions, it is Grinder will destroy the Machinix, and then you'll summon Disaster Leo. Machinix's effect will then special summon to your opponent's field, and then return the Argent Chaos Force to hand. Okay, so based on that, I'll go ahead and quickly rewind to where I messed up. So I went back to where I messed up. You summon Giant Grinder before you summon Chaos number 88. As you'll use Grinder's effect, using material, destroy Machinix. Then you'll activate Argent Chaos Force, targeting your Leo to summon Disaster Leo. And then because you summon Disaster Leo, Machinix will activate its effect, summoning to your opponent's field and returning Argent Chaos Force to your hand. Then you will use Mansion of the Dreary Dolls effect, detach material from your Disaster Leo, summoning Gimmick Puppet of Leo to your opponent's side of the field. Then you will use the Giant Grinder, destroy the Machinix, dealing another 15, so your opponent's taking 3,000 so far. Argent Chaos Force on the Giant Grinder to summon Giant Hunter. Giant Hunter will use its effect, destroying the Gimmick Puppet of Leo. So now with this, your opponent has now taken additional 3,200 points of damage, which means your opponent's taken 6,200. You'll then activate Gimmick Puppet of Leo's Disaster Leo's effect, burning your opponent for additional 1,000, leaving your opponent with 800 life points left. And from here, you can go to End Phase, and as soon as you touch End Phase, Disaster Leo's effect will activate. Since it has no materials, and your opponent's life points are 2,000 or less, you automatically win. So I had to look at my notes a little bit, because I realized, as I was doing this combo, I accidentally skipped over the step of destroy Machinix, then rank up, and then bring back Machinix. But that was the 2-card combo that involves the automatic win granted by Gimmick Puppet Disaster Leo. As the automatic win of Gimmick Puppet of Leo, it requires you to have 3 turns, and your opponent's likely to just end you in 3 turns. But that is it for the Gimmick Puppet combo video. I apologize if that second combo was a little harder to follow, just because I accidentally skipped over the steps, and then had to go back and correct. But if you liked that combo video, or if you have ideas for other combo videos like me to make for other decks, feel free to comment down below. I always read the comments. Thank you for watching.